run you through quickly, what we've been up to down here in Chile over the last, couple of years, and what our current focus is. Just the normal disclaimer there on the next slide. Culpeo Minerals, an ASX listed company. We've been listed for about 2.5 years. We're focused on Chile. We're focused on the coastal belt of Chile in areas of low altitude. We believe the coastal belt of Chile is extremely underexplored. We're undertaking systematic exploration, obviously, to unlock the potential of our, pretty large portfolio of ground that we do have in the coastal belt. And we've also got a very experienced in-country team and a board that's had a lot of experience in South America and in Chile in particular. Our two main projects are the Fortuna project, which is a reasonably recent acquisition in about mid last year. Fortuna consists of 7 key outcropping copper prospects with a lot of higher grade copper and gold grades coming out of those prospects at Fortuna. And the project that we have spent quite a bit of time exploring and drilling is our Llana Carina project, which is only 10 kilometres south of Fortuna. And Llana Carina's been pretty exciting from our point of view. We've seen some very wide intersections coming back from Llana Carina. You can see one of the highlights there, 257 metres at 1.1% copper equivalent from quite shallow depths below the surface. Just to sort of introduce everyone to Culpeo and some of those recent high-grade intercepts that we have had. We've drilled 13 holes at Llana Carina, and you can see some of the highlights there. Some very wide, good grade intersections coming out of Llana Carina. And we've recently started a drilling program at Fortuna, where we're seeing some pretty decent grades from surface coming out of the Key Eye prospect at Fortuna in particular. And I'll run you through the geology of both Fortuna and Llana Carina in the next few slides. Board and management, as I explained, successful track record of discovery, project development and value creation, particularly in South America. Our chairman, Jeff McNamara, and one of our directors, Zeph Reeves, have been exploring Chile for about 15 years. They've had a lot of success with a few other companies. They've made a gold discovery further to the north in Chile with Tesoro Resources. We've got a mining engineer on the board, Paul Schmid, who brings a great wealth of experience having a mining background in Australia, and also a lot of work internationally, particularly in Africa. Myself as managing director, I'm also a geologist with a lot of experience particularly in Southeast Asia, Africa, Mongolia, and for the last couple of years in Chile. The other key member of the team is our country manager, Sergio Uribe, who's a Chilean national, and he certainly plays a big part in enabling us to see a lot of projects that maybe other explorers don't get the opportunity to see. Just a quick corporate snapshot there. Current share price of just over 5 cents a share. Market capitalisation of $10 million. We've got 2.7 million in the bank after our recent fundraising exercise. So we've got quite a lot of funds there for our exploration and drilling programs, and they'll be utilised and put back in the ground very, very shortly when we do get the drill rig back to site. As I mentioned, we've just completed a small program of drilling at Fortuna, and we intend to bring the drill rig back to site and drill both the additional projects at Fortuna and also Llana Carina as well. So just quickly on the projects, as I mentioned, we're targeting high-grade copper resources in the coastal belt of Chile. The coastal belt's a fantastic place to explore, lots of infrastructure, low altitude, and I think you can see by some of the previous presentations, a lot of world-class copper deposits in the coastal belt. You can see some of those projects there on the map. Andacolio copper mines about 100 kilometres north of our Fortuna and Lana Carina projects. To the southwest, to the southeast, you've got the very large Las Palambras porphyry copper deposit. They're all within 100 kilometres of where we're exploring. The coastal belt is extremely underexplored. Our particular projects contain outcropping copper mineralisation, a lot of historic high-grade surface mining having occurred within our tenement areas. And as I mentioned, we've just completed a 1,000-metre high-impact drilling program at Fortuna. So Fortuna does consist of 7 major projects, and obviously Fortuna is only about 10 kilometres north of our Lana Carina project. So you can see on the map on the right-hand side there, some of those historical results that have come out of Lana Carina, and you can also see some of the recent surface results that are coming out of Fortuna. So what we like about these projects are, the grades are exceptionally higher than most of the larger porphyry copper deposits. That's one of the reasons we are attracted to the coastal belt. We believe there's a very good opportunity to discover a 100 to 200 million tonne ore body that's going to have grades around 0.8 to 1% copper equivalent. What's exciting about Fortuna is that we do see quite a lot of gold associated with the copper, particularly at Piedra Dura and also at our northern prospect, La Florida. And I'll go quickly into the geology of those very, very shortly. So the Fortuna project, as I mentioned, does consist of 7 prospects. We've got about 4,000 hectares of exploration concessions at Fortuna, and obviously drilling just completed at Kiai North and Vaca Muerta. We have released the results of one hole from Kiai North, which hit some very good grade mineralisation just below the surface, and we're waiting on assays from Kiai and Vaca Muerta and expect those assays back in the next couple of weeks. Just quickly running through a couple of the projects at Fortuna, the Vaca Muerta project, where we have undertaken drilling. That project is pretty exciting. The copper mineralisation there is present over about 1,000 metres strike length. It's 300 metres wide. We've seen some very high-grade surface channel samples come out of Vaca Muerta, 172 metres at 0.86% copper, 40 metres at over 2.1% copper equivalents coming out of another trench at Vaca Muerta. So that's a pretty exciting project, and we're looking forward to getting those results back in the next few weeks. At Kiai, we have drilled 2 holes at Kiai. We have followed up some of those high-grade underground intersections. You can see some of the grades that have come back from the underground channel sampling. Kiai was historically mined. About 200,000 tonnes of 2% copper was taken out of Kiai, and we've basically looking at exploring that whole 3-kilometre long trend, which is termed the Kiai fault structure. And we see mineralisation at 3 prospects along that structure: Kiai North, Kiai Central, and Kiai South. At this stage, we've only drilled the Kiai North prospect. This is a cross-section through Kiai North. You'll see some of those higher grade copper equivalent numbers coming back from Kiai. We hit some mineralisation very close to the surface in the oxide, 6 metres at 0.78% copper equivalent, and then we hit a deeper sulfide zone in the drill hole there, 26 metres at 0.81% copper equivalent. And as I mentioned, we are waiting on the second hole to come back from the lab, and we've currently got the exploration team exploring the rest of that 3-kilometre structure, and we're seeing quite a lot of interesting high-grade surface mineralisation coming out of that prospecting work on the structure. Piedra Dura and Lucero, they are both also prospects within the Fortuna project. Both of those prospects are outcropping. The structures that we have identified are over 1 kilometre long in each of the areas. The grades that are coming out of out of that surface mapping work that we're doing in these areas suggests that the copper grades are exceptionally high. We're seeing up to 4% copper at Piedra Dura, over 5% copper at Lucero. Interestingly, we're also seeing quite a lot of gold, particularly at Piedra Dura. We're seeing up to 48 grams per tonne coming out of Piedra Dura. So that's really exciting for us to be able to see that additional metal endowment with the gold associated with copper at these structurally controlled copper prospects within the Fortuna project. The other project at Fortuna is our large La Florida prospect. That is a porphyry target. The interesting thing about La Florida is we believe we're sitting right at the top of the porphyry system. We're seeing a lot of gold associated with copper in the sampling that we have done at La Florida. We've got mineralisation delineated over about a 1.7 kilometre strike. It's over 600 metres wide, and we're currently following up our initial prospecting there with a large multi-element geochemical survey. And then once we do that, we will be doing some geophysics over La Florida, and that will generate further drill targets for us at La Florida. So that's a large tonnage, medium grade target at La Florida. So just quickly on Lana Carina, which is where we've had a lot of drilling success in the last 12 to 18 months. Lana Carina is situated only 10 kilometres south of Fortuna. Lana Carina is a series of breccia pipes that outcrop on the surface. They are mineralised. Underlying those breccia pipes, we see a very well mineralised porphyry intrusive, and then interestingly below the porphyry intrusive we see a cupola structure below the porphyry, which hosts some very high-grade molybdenum and copper. So the system at Lana Carina is telescoped. It's currently delineated to about 500 metres below the surface. And as you can see on the cross-section there's some of those high-grade numbers and very wide, good-grade intersections coming out of Lana Carina. So lots of more work to do at Lana Carina. We've been spending a lot of time there going back through the old core, remodeling the structures, and we've generated quite a few additional targets at Lana Carina. One of the interesting things at Lana Carina is the mineralisation is associated with a magnetic low response from the ground mag survey that we've done. So you can see on this section, which is a three-dimensional slice through the Lana Carina project, it's showing a very good correlation between those magnetic low rocks at Lana Carina and where we have intersected the high-grade copper. So as you can probably appreciate from the section, we've still got a lot of more drilling to do at Lana Carina. It looks like the mineralisation does extend almost 100%, maybe 150% to the south. And we've also got another target along strike of Lana Carina at a prospect called Vista Montana, where we see a very, very similar magnetic low feature that has never been drilled. So we do intend to take the drill rig back to Lana Carina. We will be drilling some of these near surface breccia targets, but we will also be drilling some of the deeper mag low targets that sit about 100 metres below the surface. So pretty exciting times over the next couple of months, with a lot of drilling being undertaken at both Fortuna and Lana Carina. And just to finish with the last slide, this just gives you a feel for the news flow that will be coming out over the next few weeks. Obviously, we've got those assay results coming back from the Fortuna drilling. We are in the process of looking to get a drill rig back to site in probably March this year. So we will be undertaking some more drilling at Fortuna and Lana Carina, and then later in the year we will be drill testing that large La Florida project at the northern part of Fortuna.